So I can't believe there's actually people saying that Jiren and Goku are going to team up by the end of the special, and that's exactly how Goku got his power. It's that Jiren gave him the power on purpose so that they could both basically just rebel against everybody. And I think that's absolutely stupid. But with another preview, with extra footage packed in, not much of course, we actually might indeed now know what is Jiren's power. Why is he so powerful that Goku might even lose with this new Limit Breaker transformation? Jiren might overpower him, and that's why in the following week's episodes, there are spoilers that Hit and possibly even Vegeta will end up fighting him. For starters, we've seen Jiren meditating, and I think that's almost synonymous with perfect ki control. I think he has perfect mastery of his ki. He doesn't have any emotional instability, he's not going to freak out in rage, he'll have perfect control over his anger. And in some ways, that could be a problem, right? It might take more to anger this guy, but on the other hand, he might use his powers in a much more selective way than Goku, meaning that he might even have more stamina by the end of the fight. Just think about it. Then when those Kacchin blocks were flying all over the place because of the Gods of Destruction, seemingly they had Jiren and Goku in their sights, right? Goku had to jump out of the way and he almost got hit himself even after that. Jiren didn't even have to move. He simply analyzed his position and stayed in the same place. Now, so you guys are saying that he actually controlled the movement of those blocks, he actually shifted them away so that he wouldn't have to move, some sort of telepathy with inanimate objects. Some people are saying that he did move, but he moved in such a way that for some reason it wasn't visible to the human eye. He moved at super speeds, right? Or maybe they shifted the angle so that we couldn't see it. There could be 1,000 explanations for why Jiren was just standing there, as if he already knew he wasn't going to get hit, as those blocks were like 10 meters away. Where am I going with this? Jiren has some sort of time skip. He has some sort of extrasensory, some sort of cognitive ability where within a certain period of time, he's able to predict certain movements. That's the only explanation behind why he didn't get out of the way. He could have gotten out of the way, but he just realized he didn't have to get out of the way because he knew those blocks would not hit him. And if you take a look at the recent preview, sure, Jiren's got this barrier ability where he could create these barriers around his body, and that explains why Goku in Super Saiyan Blue, keep in mind he hasn't used Super Saiyan Blue at all in this tournament, so he's preserved most of his energy reserves. Well, he cannot hit Jiren, and when he does hit Jiren, it does absolutely nothing. Mostly because Jiren's simply blocking out all the attacks. He's deflecting all the attacks. But this barrier is not enough. No matter how powerful and potent that barrier is to deflect all of Goku's attacks, and I have more theories about the barrier in a second. I think it's actually somewhat expansive. It goes beyond what we saw in this little preview. Without this preview and all these recent spoilers, I wouldn't feel comfortable saying this, but Jiren could read Goku's future movements. That's the only way I can honestly explain Goku using Kaioken times 20, throwing every single piece of his might at Jiren, back-to-back punches and kicks, ki blast from every direction, how Jiren isn't even getting scratches on him. And if he does get scratches, they're so minuscule. Maybe just overload of attacks on Goku's end. But what could explain Goku going all out and Jiren not even getting hit? It wouldn't even be that Jiren is just more powerful than him. We know he's more powerful than him. But the amount of power difference is just too great to explain how he's not even getting hit and how Goku's going to potentially win this fight in the end with this Limit Breaker state. It's that he actually has cognitive abilities. He's able to predict the future to some degree. And yes, there is a window of time, I believe. In the same way that Hit probably, increased his time skip to where he could, stop time for longer stretches of time, I believe Jiren's ability is also expansive like that, and he's probably put in a lot more work than Hit, which would explain why he's more powerful than him, of course. And this cognitive ability expresses itself in different ways than the time skip, but in the same way that Hit's time skip was sort of broken, I think Jiren's cognitive abilities could also be broken. They could also be disturbed or gassed up or blocked. I think that's going to be the key to Goku's victory. He's not going to simply overpower Jiren, because that kind of a jump would be just too hard to explain, and I feel like it'd be the most laziest writing on Toei's part. He's not going to just overpower Jiren, even in that new form, which a lot of people are now calling the Genki Dama or Spirit Bomb God form, because people are now saying that he just absorbed the Spirit Bomb, which I, by the way, also said, Jiren possibly put some of his own power into that Spirit Bomb by deflecting it accidentally or intentionally, I don't know. Clearly, they're not teaming up, though. It'd be so lazy on Toei's part to explain Goku winning by just overpowering Jiren. But what if he disturbs Jiren, underpowers his ability? And you see, that would work, because that way Jiren could bump himself up in the future. Oh, Goku's strategy / transformation, a mix of those things, worked on me. This time it was able to block out my cognitive extrasensory abilities. This time it was able to disturb my main power. This time, well, it won't be able to do the same exact thing in the future. And that way Jiren could build himself up, still being more powerful than Goku, because keep in mind, this transformation, that might be the way that Jiren loses this fight, by the way. This transformation might only be temporary, right? Goku might not be able to just constantly use this time and time again. Now, I do feel like eventually they're going to want to trademark it, and they're going to want to give Goku a new power permanently, so that might be the power, but there might be conditions right now, keep in mind. So the only way to explain Goku winning this fight by himself with his own might wouldn't be for Goku to just overpower Jiren. It would be to disturb Jiren, to block out his powers. He's still more powerful than Goku, but Goku was able to win the fight this time. And if you're going to ask me specifically what Goku does to block out Jiren's abilities, I don't know. It could be something about changing the way he fights because of this new transformation. Like, people are saying, of course, after he absorbs the Spirit Bomb, that he's going to be so pure-hearted, he's going to have, like, literally no evil inside of his body, that maybe he doesn't think about any of his movements, going back to what we said to Goku and Vegeta about basically not thinking at all when you fight. Maybe Goku's so unpredictable, and that sort of disturbs Jiren's ability to predict movements, or, 1 second, 2 seconds into the future. Whatever his ability is and how it expresses itself, I don't know, but it could also be Goku changing something about everything up until the point of that transformation. That transformation changes something about the way he fights, not necessarily power-wise. That could be the deciding factor in the fight. Now, let me hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think Jiren's power is? Do you think he has any kind of extrasensory ability, any type of ability to read the future, or do you think that's a stretch? Do you just think that he's extremely powerful? And if so, and it's not anything to do with reading the future, what do you think his power is? Do you think that he actually transforms? Do you think his power is just something that we simply won't understand until the actual material comes out and we get to see him in action? Because I'm going to be honest, this might be all just a bunch of theories floating around YouTube from all these different people regarding the Spirit Bomb being absorbed. Like, it might be entirely different, and we might all end up looking stupid here. But one thing's for certain is it's going to be a treat seeing Goku transform Limit Breaker State. We see in the preview him rising up from all the craziness and transforming, and he just looks so dope. I want him to beat Jiren, right? I am on Team Goku. I just don't know how he's going to do it, and if Toei says Goku is more powerful than Jiren after the fight, I think that's going to be terrible writing. I'm just going to be